Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Fall of the Res, and welcome back to my apocalypse. I'm sure you all have been dying to hear my opinions on the new Fallout show, and I'll have to say, it's pretty great. I won't waste your time on this. I'd say that this is one of the best shows I've ever watched, and it's not just because of my thorough love of the Fallout series, it's because it actually has good writing. Something that you don't see in a lot of TV shows nowadays. And I know I had a tiny bit of critiques in my first video about it, which you can watch here. I like to think that I was just a little nervous and worried about what it could become. And seeing about all the TV shows that have come out lately, I think there were some well-founded concerns. And I clearly had nothing to worry about. As you all may or may not have seen, the new Fallout TV show and the new Fallout 4 update has skyrocketed Fallout into the media again. Critics and the audience like you and I seem to love the show so very much. Now onto my actual thoughts about the show and the characters. I'm going to go ahead and start with Lucy.
Okie dokie. My name is Lucy McLean.
One of the coolest vault dwellers out there, and one of the most probably accurate depictions of what someone would be like if they were to exit a vault for the first time and see that the world around them was Fallout. And throughout the first season, and I am so excited for the second season by the way, she keeps her composure and is always nice to people like the vault intended to be.
Golden rule, motherfucker.
With keeping the golden rule, she's a great example of what Fallout could be if the people just worked together. However, that wouldn't make the game series so much fun, now would it? And her family's involvement in the story really glues it all together. I like how her lack of knowledge of the outside world allows us to discover this new wasteland together. While, of course, this isn't really a new wasteland because we've been in NCR territory before, back in the earlier Fallouts, and you could even say in Fallout New Vegas if you want to. Also, the last few scenes of Season 1 depicts Vegas, of which I am extremely excited for, and I think every single New Vegas fan was absolutely crying over. Back to my analysis on Lucy. It did kind of catch me off guard in one of her first scenes, but I guess it all worked out in the end.
I have been unable to find a suitable marriage partner. At least one I'm not related to. And we have rules about that for a reason.
It's still kind of weird though. It's basically the good karma playthrough of all the three main characters. I'd say that Maximus is definitely my favorite character out of the main three, and I'd say I definitely relate to him the most.
You want to make my cock explode now?
Well, kinda.
Sorry, intercourse?
That's better. He starts off being a roughed up initiate into a squire, then gets put into the service of Knight Titus, of which he is not a fan of. He's treated just as badly, if not worse, than he was with his initiate friends. Knight Titus then takes a fall, and could have survived, but Maximus decides not to help him. Instead, deciding to take the power armor for himself, he goes under the name Knight Titus, not because he wanted to honor Knight Titus, but because he didn't want to be discovered as a lowly squire. And another thing about the Brotherhood, I don't like how zealous and religious they made them seem. Like in this scene, if you got rid of all of the Brotherhood of Steel symbols around the place, and just left it up for people to guess what faction this was, if you said the Cult of Adam, I would not blame you for thinking that. Finally, he's kind of like a neutral karma character. He's not the best person, he's not the worst, he's really just out to do his own thing. Also, the way they changed the jetpack is just amazing. I did not like the way they did the jetpack in Fallout 4, and now you have wrist rockets.
Extending the supers! Watch those wrist rockets!
Which is just awesome. And the very last main character of the Fallout TV show is the Ghoul, otherwise known as Cooper Howard. For the sake of simplicity, I will just continue calling him the Ghoul, because I think that's just a much cooler nickname. The Ghoul seems to be the most popular main character, and the best part of the show to many people's opinions. He is one of the oldest ghouls in fact, so I don't really blame them for thinking that. I would have to say the best thing about this character is his ruggedness, and the fact that he brought a brand new weapon into the Fallout universe. His main weapon, which seems to be a revolver that has mini nukes in it. And I say mini nukes because they are very small mini nukes.
Right off you want these cherry tomatoes, but you got a hole in your neck.
This single-action revolver is one of the coolest weapons in the Fallout universe, and I haven't even got to play with it yet. It even devastates T-60 power armor users, of which he seems to be very knowledgeable of, since he wore a T-45 suit back in the Resources War versus China.
Well, I used to wear one back in the day. There was only one problem with it. There was a flaw. Well, just below the chest plate. I wonder if they fix that in this new model. guess not.
And this basically shows how little he cares about others' lives in the wasteland. But we do later find out that his family is probably still alive, maybe in Vault 31. Speaking of Vault 31, let's get on to the locations and lore of the rest of the wasteland.
Well, I don't know, but I've been told uranium ore is worth more than gold.
We start in Vault 33 with Lucy. Vault 33's experiment is heavily tied in with Vault 31 and Vault 32. Vault 31, 32, and 33 are all connected and can be easily accessed through a shared tunnel network. Also, they all shared an experiment, but were carried out in slightly different ways. The experiment was to make super managers that would actually help rebuild the United States, which is why specific people were selected in arranged marriages between Vault 33 and Vault 32. Vault 31 was kind of a part of this process, but not entirely. These triennial trades, which were trades between each of the vaults, could be done and could be trading several things, such as medicine, food, crops, and as I said before, arranged marriages. However, the arranged marriage between Lucy and her supposed-to-be husband did not start.
So what's your sperm count?
Or end so well. With the people coming out of Vault 32 not actually being Vault Dwellers. However, they were raiders. Or at least we thought they were raiders at first, and that's something else that I will get to later. We found out that these raiders entered Vault 32, killed all the residents, and imitated them to get inside Vault 33. While these raiders did kill many residents of Vault 33, and kidnapping Overseer McLean, they did lose the battle with Vault 33, and many were captured for later study, and perhaps rehabilitation. Eventually Norm, or Lucy's brother, gets suspicious of the new Overseer Betty Pearson, having shady dealings with Vault 32's assailants. This leads Norm to enter Vault 31 to see what's happening there and if they're even alive. And we see that the Vault Dwellers of Vault 31 are in cryogenic stasis, similar to how the occupants of Vault 111 were in Fallout 4. Unfortunately, Episode 8 left off with a cliffhanger, meaning we'll have to see if Norm reveals it to the entirety of Vault 33, confronts the Overseer, or what he does with the information. Next is the NCR in Shady Sands. We learn of Shady Sands' destruction from Maximus learning that he is originally from the NCR before being adopted by the Brotherhood of Steel. We learn that the NCR's capital, Shady Sands, was bombed, leaving the NCR a broken faction and the equivalent to raiders. Speaking of raiders, if you remember back when I was talking about the vaults, the raiders that had actually raided Vault 33 were the NCR. And of course, a big plot point that I have left out this entire video is the faction of the Enclave. That's right, the Enclave is back and not just some creative club add-on. They are back as a full faction. While we have not seen their power armor yet, I am extremely excited to see it and what they do with some of the Enclave power armor. I am extremely jealous of the actors who get to wear all this power armor. I've been wanting to do that since I first played Fallout, as I believe every single one of you all have. Speaking of which, Bethesda, if you all are watching this and you all like my content, maybe just for some reason y'all want to put me in the show, I would not be against that in any shape or form. Anyway, enough talking about myself. It seems the entire wasteland is after this one man, or just his head. This Enclave scientist has the power to change the wasteland and give control of the wasteland to anyone who owns his head because of a special subdermal chip implanted in his neck. The NCR is after it, the Brotherhood is after it, and I'm sure later we will see the Enclave come back after him as well. Or what's left of him, of course. So in conclusion, do I love this show just because it's Fallout? Yes and no. I'm always going to look at something if it has anything to do with Fallout. Shoot, sometimes I even play Fallout Shelter, which if you don't know is a mobile game that's based off the Fallout series, of which you can run your own vault, and it's a decent little game. Back to the show. This show is amazing, not just because it's Fallout, but because it's actually impressive that they can do something like this, and the fact that they actually did something with power armor, and they were able to bring it into real life. And like I said on my first video, of which I recommend you watch if you haven't already, I still think the helmet of the T-60 looks a little funny, but you know what, the rest of it's very impressive, so I'm gonna look past that. Hope you all enjoyed my review of the Fallout show, and if you enjoyed it and if you want to see more content like this, then I would like you all to like and subscribe and comment on this video and tell me what you thought. I like to keep reviews of things like this that aren't very lore-based or theory-based. Like, that's basically what my channel is about. I like to keep this short because it's not entirely what my channel is about, but it's related, so I feel like it's important to talk about it. I'm gonna try to post more often, and I should be able to do that now that summer is coming along. I have finally graduated from high school, so now I can focus on YouTube and focus on summer. when August rolls back around, it'll be back into like I'll post every so often because I'm starting college. And yeah, this is my review again. I hope you all liked it. I hope you all loved it. Just tell me what you thought. Tell me what you want to see from me, and tell me what you think about the channel, and that would be a great help because, of course, I am still a young YouTuber. I made my first video about 3 years ago, but I made a stop, as you could probably see, and then a few months ago I started posting again. I've actually gotten decently popular in my opinion. If you all have any ideas, just leave them in the comments below. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, war never changes.